We're going to begin, though, with some breaking news. It's something we have been following all morning out of Baltimore. An iconic bridge has collapsed after a cargo ship hit it in the middle of the night.
There are reports multiple vehicles were on the bridge at the time. The governor of Maryland has declared a state of emergency as search and rescue efforts are underway. So far, at least 2 people have been rescued. Fox News' Doug Luzader joins us now live from Washington. He's been following this closely for us. Good morning to you, Doug. Thanks for being here.
Good morning.
All right, bring us up to date. Has anything changed since we talked to you last hour with as far as the search and rescue is concerned?
Yeah, the search and rescue is still underway. Now, at this point, this happened at 1:30 a.m. local time. So here we are, what, 7.5 hours removed from the event, and with water temperatures around 47 degrees in that area, obviously time is not on anyone's side right now. They did kind of hone in on this number of 7 individuals they think they're looking for. That may be a combination of people that were in vehicles at the time of this accident. We say accident, that's what everyone's kind of working under the assumption here. And it may also include some construction workers that were on the bridge at the time. Now, as far as we know, everyone on the ship itself has been accounted for, but there are so many repercussions here that go beyond just the rescue effort, which is obviously taking priority. But, traffic is going to be snarled today. Plus, you have the Port of Baltimore itself that is essentially going to be disabled for a time because of this bridge collapse, and that's going to be significant.
So I know in previous press conferences, the question obviously has been, what caused this? Specifically, why did the ship crash into this bridge? I've heard a potential power outage. Have they narrowed this down at this point? What caused this?
Well, there is a lot of speculation, which is really all we have to go on at this point, as is so often the case with these kinds of things. But you look at the video, and there are a couple of pretty clear videos of this bridge collapsing, and it does appear as though the lights on the cargo, on the container ship, flash on and then off and then on and then off again. Now, was that indicative of a power failure? Certainly, again, there's a lot of speculation here. Officials won't say anything about that, only that they're at the early stages of the investigation. The FBI is involved in this as well, and while that would indicate some suspicion of something criminal, they say that this is just precautionary, their involvement, and there's no indication that this was anything criminal or any act of terrorism at this point, that it was just an accident. But how it happened, that is unclear.
And Doug, it's just unfathomable to think about how long it would take to rebuild a bridge like that. For people who aren't familiar with Baltimore, is there any way you can explain what people will do now and how much longer it would take without having the access of a bridge that really cuts off so much travel time?
Yeah, there are other ways around it. It's not as though, you've stranded people, but this takes a very well-traveled bridge out of use. And this is a bridge that carried about 11 million cars a year. So it's a pretty busy bridge, 4-lane bridge. And it's obviously going to take a lot of time to remove that debris. That will probably take priority so they can simply get the port opened again. This is a significant port that's been shut down because of this. So, beyond that, they'll have to begin designing a new bridge and presumably put one in. And, this bridge took several years to construct back in the 70s. So this is going to be kind of a long-term struggle for Baltimore in the wake of this.
Yeah, this is specifically, from my understanding, right on the I-95 corridor, which goes up and down the East Coast. So for many people, a lot of people, affected by traffic over there.
Yeah, and when we think about what happens when we've got all these shipments just sitting out there in the ocean, this is something that's not just going to affect the Baltimore area. This is something that will affect the entire country when it takes that long for those things to get into the port, right?
That's right, and it's something that we're kind of local here to Baltimore. We understand the impact that this port has. I'm not sure it's too well known outside of this area just how busy this port is. And it's not just commercial vessels like the one that struck this bridge, commercial container vessels like this, but we have cruise ships that come into the Port of Baltimore as well. So it's a very, very heavily traveled port, and that makes it all the more mystifying as to how this could happen. It's no secret as to how this port is laid out. It's very well traveled for mariners. There are local pilots that come out to guide these ships in just for an added measure of security. So, given the fact that there don't appear to be any weather conditions overnight that would have contributed to this. It certainly makes you wonder whether there was some kind of mechanical failure on board this vessel, but we don't know, although that's going to be a part of no doubt a lengthy investigation into how this accident happened.
All right.
Yeah. This story certainly will develop throughout the morning. We appreciate you staying on top of this, Doug. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.